first exercise we're going to instruct today is the leg press. The leg press is probably the single most important exercise one can have in their workout card, if you will. The leg press works all of the large muscles of the lower body, more specifically the quadriceps and hamstrings, primarily the glutes and hips, but even the calf muscles can be involved in this exercise. When we're instructing somebody for the first time, we're going to make sure that we pick an appropriate weight that they can practice perfect form, because it's about perfect practice making perfection. So the proper entry into this is I'm going to have Sean come over here and stand parallel facing the wall, and then I'm going to have you turn and kind of face me and sit carefully into the seat. And then I want you to swing around very gently and put your feet up on the pedestal parallel. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is, because making sure that we always maintain a neutral head alignment is really important to the safety of our clients. What I'm going to do now, Sean, is go ahead and lie back completely and put a fist underneath your chin for me. Then we know that if you're not over too much open or too closed there. Okay, that's excellent. Proper hand position is the handles of the side. I want you to use a mock hook grip like this and gently apply pressure up. Do not squeeze or push down at any time, okay? Feet position we're looking for is parallel, feet flat with the pressure coming from the arch to the heel. We never want to use on the toe. That can place a little bit of more burden on the knee joint, which we want to avoid. We want to keep the load in the muscles of the thigh. Proper seat position is I want to be able to put her as close as I can, but I do not want to obstruct or congest the abdomen for internal thoracic pressure can be dangerous. Now before we begin, I want you to just kind of relax your jaw and breathe from the diaphragm, like an accordion, yes, and keep the eyes nice and closed for concentration. We always like to start with a delay start. We don't want to use the momentum to start the repetition. So what I'm going to ask you to do now, Sean, is just gently push on your heels and then increase that just until you barely crack that stack 1 inch. And now you're going to continue to push as slow as you can, but don't let motion stop. You may slightly speed up. That's perfect. Keep that cadence. Now we also want not to ever lock the knee joint out. So when you get to about 90%, Sean, go ahead and slowly turn around now and come back down. Ideal speed of motion on the leg press is 10 seconds out and 10 seconds back. At the bottom position on our lower turnaround, we actually touch the stack. So we have to have a little technique called the touch and go. So 1 inch away, Sean, I want you to feel it touch, but don't rest, and then slowly start again. That was excellent. Typically, we tend to come down and bounce out a little bit, which I'm going to have Sean demonstrate again. Typically, when I'm instructing on the first few visits, we always go up to about 90 to 120 seconds under load, which is about 8-9 repetitions, and then we stop until we find her personal signature. Barely start again. Until we find her signature and then identify that weight range so that we can progress on a dual progression from there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have her demonstrate a couple discrepancies. Go ahead and lock your knees out. We want to avoid that. As joint angle decreases, it makes it easier for the client to accelerate at the end. Popping the knees out can be very dangerous at the end, so we want to avoid that at all times. Go ahead and come back down. Now start to pulsate your motion a little bit, segment it. Yeah, if we get going too slow, that's what we call segmentation. We want to avoid that. And then come down very slowly, touch again, and then pop it off about 1 inch. That's what we call a fall through. She's accelerating and she's trying to gain a mechanical advantage. So one of our jobs, you go ahead and turn right there. One of our jobs as an instructor at the Exercise Institute is that we make sure that we perform discrepancy-free repetitions and help people get to that point of momentary exhaustion. Go ahead and continue. Stop right there. The ultimate goal of exercise isn't to do a certain amount of repetitions or weight. That's for our record keeping. But we want to reach in a certain amount of time the position where she no longer can move the weight stacks anymore. We call this momentary exhaustion or failure. The key to being thorough about it is if she'll continue to try to hold that contraction for up to 20 seconds, then you get, this is where you can get up to 50% better results. Now, the key is to always stop slowly like we start. So Sean, go ahead and slowly set it down. And then just relax very carefully. And that was well done. If this had been a real leg press where I was watching, we would also be watching the head and neck position, because when we get kind of tired and stressed out, see, our bodies think that this is a near-death experience, so they're gonna naturally, when they start to get weakened, feel threatened. So they're gonna try to roll the knees in, try to hold your breath, things like that. Which holding the breath can trigger stroke. It can be very dangerous. We want to watch that, so that's our responsibility. So the last thing is that if you look at most health club injury reports, getting in and out of equipment and the first repetition is where most people get injured. So the first 2 repetitions on all of our exercise machines are in that first rep. That's our warm-up. And then when we're done, we always make sure that we get in and out very deliberately as to be safe about it. So what I'm going to do is click you back, Sean, and carefully just roll to your left until both feet touch the ground. And you just want to make sure that you stand up with both feet at a time. The next exercise that we're going to talk about in demo is a vertical chest. It's really similar to the leg press in the fact that instead of using the legs, we're using the arms to push. This is an excellent exercise for the muscles of the chest as well as the triceps and the deltoid. It is a compound movement, multiple joint, therefore a proper seat adjustment. You want to set the seat in a manner that the client will have start right around the rib position and then finish right above right about the clavicle. So, Sean, the entry for this is if you just have a seat and face me, and just carefully sit, and just take the lower handles at your side. Good. The other thing you want to always do is always keep your back curved and your head looking like, again, looks like we have good neutral head position. Again, we're going to want to teach a delay start on this, so over the next 3 seconds, Sean, go ahead and slowly build up enough force to start moving, and then continue to keep it in motion without stopping or hesitating. Again, like the leg press, in similarity, you do not ever want to extend and lock the elbow out as you'll put pressure in the elbow joint. And so turn and come back down at 10. The speed on this is 10 out, 10 back. And again, this also has a bottom out touch turn position. And again, barely start. Excellent. Some of the discrepancies that we have to watch for as instructors or when we're training ourselves is that as we fatigue, we try to manipulate arm position. Go ahead and lock out again. That's kind of what we do, try to gain rest right now. The muscles are unloaded and the joints are resting. We want to avoid that. Go ahead and come back down. And then start to pulsate a little bit so you're going too slow. And this is called segmentation. Go ahead and come back. You can come back down. And then another thing that people do is go ahead and shrug the shoulders. They bring the shoulders up and then relax. You can relax. That's good. And then the other, start a little quick, kind of pop it off, and that's called a fall through. And then back up and go out, like down an inch, an on-off. This is called an on-off. So you're going to come out smoothly, then back an inch, and then extend there. That's called on-offing, and those are one of the 4 discrepancies that we want to watch for at all times.